Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be building the LX5 from GepRC. It's a 5-inch. There's three models: the LX4, which is a 4-inch, LX5, which is a 5, and the LX6, which is a 6-inch. So this is a 3K carbon, 4mm arms, and 70-75 aluminum here. And this is also colored carbon fiber. I did an unboxing in the previous video. If you haven't seen that, you can go ahead and see it and you'll know what it comes with. So for components, what I'm going to use, it comes with the GepRC PDB. So I was thinking of using this and using a regular F3 flight SPF3 flight controller, but then I just decided not to, just to keep the stack nice and clean, since I don't have a VTX which is stackable and that has the pigtail coming out to here. I could do it, but I'm just too lazy to do that, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna stick with the F3 V3 since I trust it and I love it, and it's just working great for me. However, this time I'm gonna soft mount it because these here, if they get loose, then they wiggle a lot, and that could cause problems. So anyways, for components, for flight controller and PDB, I'm going to be using the F3 V3 from HGLRC, got it from Banggood. For ESCs, 35 amp Racerstar MS series, D-Shot 600 capable, without any hardware modifications, but if you do the hardware modifications, better. For camera, we're going to use the Runcam Swift. This is a 600 TVL line, TVL. So this is going to be good. This is the first Runcam I'm ever going to use, and I think it's the same thing as the Foxy XAT600, just different casing. Yeah, so we're going to try this one out on this one. And I'm going to also add a 1000 microfarad Panasonic low ESR capacitor, rated for 25 volts. This will prevent blackouts and brownouts on the OSD, which is very good, and it's pretty mandatory to set up on one of these. Maybe a 470 microfarad will probably work. Never tested it, so I don't know. I can't tell you there. For VTX, I'm going to be using the Eachine TX526. I love this. It's cheap. I got a bunch of them, and I have not had any problems with any of them. So yeah, it's like $12, $13. They're still on sale. I thought that sale was going to end, but it's just taking forever to end, which is good. For motors, we're going to be using the BrotherHobby Returner R4, the new ones. This is the 2300 kV version, and I'm very excited to try these out. So I think this is going to be a beautiful build with this frame. So it's going to look nice. So this is very good. So what else is left? For receiver, I have not chosen a receiver just yet. Once I start building it, then I'll know what receiver to use, either a stackable one or the that little one. I forgot what it was called. Anyways, I'm gonna stick with Flysky. I was thinking of switching over to FR Sky, but then I decided to go for the Turnigy Evolution. I ordered that, and it should be coming in this upcoming week, so I'm very excited. This way I don't have to buy a bunch of new receivers for all my quads. I can just keep everything the same way as it is, with just a better controller, because the Flysky one I have is just getting very bad and it needs replacing. So that's it. That's very good. I can't wait till that gets here and we can see just how good it really is, or it's just all hype or not. But I don't think it's hype. It looks like a pretty solid receiver, transmitter, sorry. Alright, so let's get started. I've set up the PDB and FC, the all-in-one, the F3 V3. And so this is the front right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's the front. So it'll be set like this. This is the battery leads. And I'm going to stick the ESCs on, put the motors in, and then we take it from there. Alright, be right back, guys. Alright guys, so I've set up the motors and the ESCs, and we have the flight controller, and now we're gonna start doing the wire management. So what I'm gonna start with, like always, I'm gonna get some heat shrink, and we're gonna cut them about maybe 5 millimeters. about this much is pretty good. So let me cut those up real quick, prepare them. So we're gonna need 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna need 4 for each side, so we need a total of 8 of these guys, and I'll show you where they go in a bit. Let me cut those up real quick. Alright, now I got them ready. So let's start with the first side. So let's grab these all together. So I'm gonna cut this right here, right now. So just, okay, it's done. And we're gonna put one heat shrink on all these wires right here. Alright, are they all in? Yes. So here goes our first. Okay, so that's one. Let's do the other one now. Cut the head here. Alright, get out of the way. And we're just sticking them on. Alright. So if the weather is clear tomorrow, it's saying it's going to rain, but if it's clear tomorrow, I'm going to be taking this bad boy out, as well as the other ones that I've built, so we could do our maiden flights. Alright, and here is the last one. Okay. And it's good to keep the ground wire wrapped around the ESC signal. I guess it reduces interference, and it's just you're better off. So I mean, if we're able to do it, why not do it, right? So okay, so we got this done. So we're gonna start with the back side, which is the side that's facing us right now. We'll just move these guys out of the way. Alright, so we have these, and now we're just gonna put them in through the bottom here. We're going to do the same thing to this side also. Put it in through the bottom. Now it's awesome now, we don't have to worry about the battery strap, so we can go as low as possible here to the frame with the flight controller. Alright, so now I pulled them all out, the back side. So let's just move these over there because I just don't want to get anyone confused. Right, so we have here, let me show you. This is positive and this is negative ground. So, and this is going to go for the battery. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the positive. The positives are going to be on this side. So here's positive. Okay. Pull them a bit to here. Alright, and then we get the ground. Okay, we got them like this, and we just drop another heat shrink here. And we're going to drop one here on the ground. So let's keep them nice and clean. Now, I don't know if we should undo the ground of this also, so we can run the ground with the ground here and keep the signal to go off on its own from right now. Yeah, let's do that now actually. So alright, so we did that. Now we're just gonna put these in through here. We should have stuck them in first. Alright, there we go. And then we could just have later on the ground of the signal just going off to its own place. And then these guys will go together here. But we also need the ground from this guy right here. So let's take him out now. Alright. There we go. Let's take another wrap out right here. Trying to unwrap a little bit more so it gives us a little bit more freedom down here. Yeah, you see? Now we got freedom. So this should keep it very clean right here once we heat shrink it. And then we're just gonna solder these on and these go out and it'll just be super absolutely clean. So right now let's just begin by heating up the pads. Soldering station is ready and we're gonna start with the big pads. So let's get that here. Let's do this there. All right. And I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to turn on the fume thingy. Alright guys, so we just finished soldering in the, putting solder on the pads. So I just put solder on the battery terminals, the positive and negative here for the ESCs, the 12 volt and the VTX, and the 5 volt and cam, and the signals, signal 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then ground here if we're going to use it for something. So let's get started now. Alright. So we will start with the positive here. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to heat shrink it first. Let's heat shrink it now. Let's heat shrink all of them. I think it's a good way to start. So we keep them nice and clean. Got this guy right here. Did we heat shrink him? I forgot. Anyways, let's shrink these while we're here. Alright, that gave us a bit cleaner area to work with now. Alright, so let's start by cutting stuff off now, actually. So let's just cut this to here, should be good. That's the signal for motor 1. Put it back here. I have these are going to be fine. We're going to cut it right there. We're going to make like a little heart shape kind of thing going on there, like this, and it'll be same on this side also, just like this. So it'll look pretty clean. Let's cut the signal a little bit more. Okay, this one's out of the way. And I think these grounds need a little bit more cutting. Now remember, we need to always keep room for the connector down here, because that's where we're going to connect PPM. Alright. So I think like this will be good. And let's just get this and just check it out if it's in the way of anything. No, it shouldn't be in the way of anything at all. So that's good enough right there. So we're going to cut this right about there. go. Got rid of those. Let's double check the positive because I think it might be a bit too long. Let's got a little bit more of these guys. Right there is good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strip these and I'm going to put solder on all the wires, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we put solder on the wires now, so we're just going to start soldering them in. So we're going to start with these guys right here, the positive. And make sure you keep space so you have room to solder in your battery. Oh, let me just move this out of the way. And that's our positive. That's our VCC. And now we're gonna do ground. So ground's gonna be a little bit tricky because we have 3 wires. We want to make them next to each other as possible. I don't know if you guys can see that. Line them up as good as possible here, so we can have so there we go, we've lined them up. Alright, now let's solder them in. So I really don't like how this is planning out. I'll remove some of this guy right here. Or maybe we should leave that guy for last. Let's put these guys in. So I'm gonna heat up the pad first. Just makes your life a lot easier if you do that. Something is holding completely wrong. Yeah, there we go. So heat up the pad. Pop it in. Okay, it's in. Let's get this guy. Put him in here. And this is what I hate about him. So now you guys can see that it's starting to look clean. Now we're just going to solder this in, and we're going to solder that in. The signal 1 and signal 3, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And we're going to put low ESR capacitor because this will need a capacitor for the OSD. So let me get that done. Let's solder these on first, and then I'll get those done, and then we'll go from there. Trim down this a little bit more. Right about there. That's good. Okay. Perfect. Alright, so far we got motor 1 in, and we got the positives of the ESCs, the back ESCs here, and the negative of the back ESCs, as well as the ground of the signal of the ESCs, the back ones here. So what's left is for me to solder signal 3, which is motor 3, and then we'll head over there and do that stuff too. Alright, so I'll be right back. Let me get that out of the way. It's going to be the same exact thing. The heat shrink, wrap it around, take it over, put 2 heat shrinks to hold them in place, and then just ground and positive, and we're done. And we should be done. And we're gonna I'll skip over the motors since it's just pretty obvious, you know. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 and 4 are just straight connections from the motor to the ESCs, and 3 and 4 you could switch any 2 wires, but I prefer to switch the first and last wire. I know it doesn't matter, but that's how I like doing it. So, or you can just do it direct and reverse it in BL Heli, but I don't like doing that because I've had desyncs before, so it's up to you. So I'll be right back and then we can continue. Alright guys, so I have soldered everything in, the motors, everything, and I've stuck these heat shrink here just so it could cover up the area where I cut off so I could solder. It'll just look very nice. It should go with the theme, with the color of the frame, with that goldish color. So we're going to heat shrink these later once we check that the motors are spinning in the right directions. Now, let me show you what I did here. We have motor 1, 2, 3, and 4 soldered in. And we got the positive and negative for the ESCs all soldered in. And now what I added this capacitor right here on this terminal lead, and I had it come out like this because when the frame comes on, it just barely clears it, which is good. I don't have to fight it, and it just fits awesome. Let me show you guys. So it's gonna look like this. Just a little bit up. There we go. And the capacitor is hanging right here, but it doesn't move at all because this is gonna be holding it in place. Okay, so and then I added the washers here to soft mount the flight controller because I don't trust these. Well, if they get loose, they're just gonna make a lot of oscillations, and it's gonna make me problems. Now the little ESR capacitor. Why do I add a capacitor? Well, this board I've had experience with. It does after a while start giving you blackouts on the VTX, and I never had OSD flickers. I just had blackouts and brownouts, or brownouts, whatever you want to call them. So when I add this, I don't have any problems at all with this board. It just runs perfect. Now I haven't tried to use a regular capacitor. It comes with these capacitors right here. This one's a 470 microfarad, 25 volt. So these could help. I mean, if you connect them in series or connect one, but a low ESR is just a lot better. It reduces a lot of noise in the system. I think these ESCs might be noisy. I'm not sure. I don't have an oscilloscope to test that. But now we are basically almost done. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the camera, the VTX wires, and I've already put this through the bottom because it's just a headache to deal with that later on. So I just did that now. And let's get the camera wire. So we're going to be using the Runcam Swift, the regular one, and I've already prepared the wires. Stripped them, I mean. So all we got to do is just connect them, power, ground, and the video. So let's do this. All right. So we can either ground from the VTX, since this VTX has an extra ground coming out, or we can just ground it directly to this pad. I think I might just do it to this pad. It'll be just fine. And then I'll ground the VTX from this right here. I don't want a wire just running across like that. It just gives you another place for it. I've done that before and it ripped, so I just don't want to deal with that. So I'd rather have it just all coming out from here and all coming out from here, and then we're clean and we're good. So let's get that started with. Let's cut these a little bit smaller since they're a bit too long here. And when you cut these, cut them far away from your motors because you don't want this stuff to go in your. So we're gonna cut the yellow wire and the power wire small. This one, let's keep it a little bit long because it's going to be a bit tricky to get it in there right now. So let's see if I can fix the camera for you guys. I hope it doesn't fall like this. Alright, so the wires don't come twisted, I just twisted them just to keep it clean. Twist them as hard as you can. Well, not too hard because you could rip them. So let's do this. Alright, so this is the camera right now. Alright, see, you got cam and you have 5 volts. So the yellow goes to cam and the solid iron is on. That's good. Alright, clean up the soldering iron. Let's clean it so I can get it right now actually. Oh, there we go. Should add a little bit more solder to them. Alright, this one's good. And this one's good. Now this one's a pain because we have to put it with these and I don't want any of these to go loose. So we're gonna do it like basically a half-ass job. So because I don't want to risk having to deal with it, and it doesn't really affect anything, just has to be touching. I mean, it's nothing super critical because it's just not taking a lot of power. So I mean, it was just this is just ground. All right, add a little bit of that on it. So let's see if we're gonna need to cut a little bit of this off. Yeah, let's cut a little bit off. All right. That's good. I like it. It's good enough. So now we got the camera wire in. Let's go to the VTX. Let me prepare the VTX wire because it's a bit, I need to look for it real quick, so I'll be right back. Alright, now I prepared the VTX wire, so let's get it started. Alright, so you can see 12 volt VTX, and we're just going to ground it from this little bad boy over there. I don't want to have to deal with all these, all this right here. That's a headache, really. So let's cut them to length real quick. Alright. So let's start with VTX, which is yellow. So okay, the capacitor is not making me be able. Let's add a little bit of solder to these pads. Perfect. All right. Just cut a little bit shorter. These are very, very crappy wires, but the VTX is awesome. Okay. That one needs a little bit of. Perfect. Now let's just need to release some of this a little bit more to be able to get the ground to reach there nice and neat. So there we go. That should be fine right there. Okay. Let's cut a little bit more off of this one, so we don't want it touching anything else. It's going to be very difficult like this. Okay. Trying to do it in a way where you guys could see also. Right there. It's perfect. Okay, so VTX is in, camera's in, capacitor's in, and I need to figure out what receiver I'm going to use. So the brown one's going to be PPM, red is positive, and black is ground. And we should be done. So, alright, so we finished soldering everything. Everything is working. I just turned it on. This is turning on just fine. It's broadcasting. The camera is working perfect. Everything is just running fine. So I put this this carbon fiber plate that came with it, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use double-sided tape to hold it in place, and then use zip tie around it just to hold it there. And for the receiver, you barely have any room for a receiver after this. So I removed this back piece right here, and I'll show you what's up. Okay, so this is going to be in like this, and that's going to be like that. And then for the receiver, I'm not going to be able to use that stackable one, the X6B. So I'm going to use this one, the FS-A8S. And it's between two things, either to tape it on top of the camera here somewhere, or actually something even better. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to zip tie it to the side right here, and then just have the antenna with another zip tie just sticking up. And that's basically it, and we're done here. So let me get that stuff out of the way and heat shrink these, make sure the motors are spinning in the right way. Heat shrink them, and I'll be right back. I think it's looking pretty damn awesome. I don't know, it just came all together just perfect, really. The only thing I don't like is just the color of that. No, actually that fits in just right. So yeah. So let's check its weight now. Let's see what we are. Zero it out. All right. So we got 351 grams. This is without any propellers or the battery strap. So 354 with the battery strap. And this is everything here, from the receiver to the VTX to everything. And I think it's gorgeous. I'm glad I bought this frame. It just looks absolutely stunning. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the showcasing of the frame, and that's gonna conclude it for this video, guys. Hopefully tomorrow the weather will be clear and I get to test it out as well as my other ones. And And that's it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy flying. See you guys.